Hey.
Hey.
Cool. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are or wherever you're listening to us. Welcome back to what I believe is the third RAMS podcast. We haven't given up on this yet. I'm really proud of it.
Still
I am
going.
joined today with Felix and Stacey, the vice president and the treasurer of our wonderful union.
Good
I say wonderful
afternoon.
in brackets. And the topic of today is we're going to be tier listing some of our favorite festivals that we've been to. And by tier listing, we mean we're going to give a list of 10 bands that played at this festival that were in the lineup. And we're going to tier them on both what we personally believe and how good the actual act was if we were there, were able to witness it. Um, so do you want to start with Bloodstock or Download? Should we start with Download first? That's more well known.
Should we start with download first?
Cool. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Stacey, do you want to introduce like whichever one you want to do first and like a little story possibly, and then we'll start with the tier listing.
Yeah. So because I'm pretty old, I've been going to download since 2004, which I think was like the second year it was running. But I camped for the first time in 2005, and so obviously that particular one meant a lot for that reason because it was my first time camping at a festival, and
Brave.
I also went
Yeah,
in
very brave.
2006. And I remember having to kind of beg to go because it was also the year I was doing my GCSEs.
Oh my
Um,
god. You
And
made me
it's
feel
pretty
like a
much during the
babby.
exams, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is. So uni's a bit better because we finish a bit earlier, so it's kind of just about on the threshold there. But in GCSEs, it was like for sure there. So did you want to do 05 or 06 first, or
We can
Should we
do
start with 05? We'll go chronologically.
okay.
let's go. Let's do it. All
Okay.
right. So shall I read out the 10 bands on the list?
Yeah.
So we've
Can
got
do.
Black
Who are the big
Sabbath,
ones?
Megadeth, Billy Idol, My Chemical Romance, Meshuggah, System of a Down, Slayer, Motorhead, Papa Roach, and Nightwish.
Sorry.
So,
Oh wow.
I mean, why don't we start with that? Because I think that's going to be an easy one. I think me and Tanya are in agreement there.
Can we
Keep it.
immediately put Nightwish in shit tier?
Yeah, let's
Nightwish.
do it.
I'm not
That's
even sure
that
I
is
know who Nightwish are.
that is completely fine with me.
They're
I'm of
gross.
a similar mind, and they were really late that year, if I remember correctly,
Oh
as
well,
well.
if
So
they're
boo
late,
them. Yeah,
put them
it
away.
might have been another year, but yeah, for sure. Um,
I
yeah,
absolutely despise Nightwish. There was
let's
one year, I think it was 2017, that they played at Bloodstock. 2017 is not an option. But my dad didn't go that year, and I was like fighting with him as to why he wouldn't go. And his excuse was because he didn't like most of the headliners. And I was like, oh, they can't be that bad. I saw about 2.5 minutes of Nightwish before I phoned up my dad while walking away and told him that he was right. I had to massively eat humble pie because they are shocking. Like, I
Even their
get
logo is a bit crap. I've just looked on the old stream there.
like they're
they're
meant to
so
be
corny.
cute and melodic and like admittingly the instrumentals aren't that bad, but not a big fan. Sorry to any big Nightwish
Right.
fan out there.
It's
No.
Nightwish has been relegated to F tier.
Let's stick them there. Let's stick them there. Um,
I think
I,
My
I,
Chemical Romance should be probably near the bottom end of
I
Oh,
was
an
going to say
overall
the
score
exact
as
same
well.
thing. That's going to be a controversial opinion, but I
Mm,
actually don't mind that Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge album, but I think they got so pompous after that. Um, I'm just not much of a fan. Yeah.
And this was 2005. So when did that album come out?
So that was around that time. I didn't
Okay.
see them at Download for sure. I didn't see them. Um, but that would have been probably, for me at least, the best era to have seen them, like pre Black Parade. But
Okay. Well,
yeah, I'm still not a bigger fan.
yeah, I think they have a big following, so we can't put
Hmm.
them too low. I'm going to suggest a
uh,
C tier
I was
at
gonna say C or
best.
D because I understand why people don't like them, but I also know that there are a lot of people who do. I love how we've already got an argument in the stream chat at the moment with Hobbit Hole saying
Fantastic.
MCR for the win, and then Great Salsa being like F tier, bro.
Yeah. No, I think putting them in the middle is kind of fair because I feel like they're quite they're a bit more mighty, aren't they? So
They're
they're
not
either
my
your
We might
taste.
favourite
end
or
up
they're
moving
not.
them.
Yeah.
Like as we put other people on, we might end up wiggling them around a little bit. But I wouldn't
Yeah,
put them
yeah.
in F tier. Put it this way: I'd rather listen to My Chem than Nightwish.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd agree. Like for
good
sure they're
point.
above Nightwish. Um, so
Okay.
another one that I'm not cuckoo nuts about would be, well, there's two others would be Billy Idol and Papa Roach.
Ow,
Hey, now what are you
sorry,
saying
that
about
hurt.
Papa
No.
Roach?
I mean,
Yeah.
they had their era for sure.
Papa Roach are
But-
definitely of a
but
time.
I
I
feel
would
like-
also
Yeah.
say they're C tier. I'd put them with
I-
Chemical Romance.
I would agree. I feel like especially 2005, they were just about past their kind of glory days.
I
Yeah, I
listened
feel
to
like they
Papa Roach when I
rise
was about
that new
12.
metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think we can put them with My Chem.
Yeah, and then I agree with Billy Idol. I've never been a Billy Idol fan at all. I
don't
really
mind
cannot
Billy
get into
Idol.
it.
I don't mind. Oh, to be fair, that said, I only listened to one or two of the songs. So
I'd rather listen to My Chem.
Catchy, but yeah, I think let's go for like D or E.
I'm
Billy
cool with
Idol,
that.
I'm gonna veto a D. I think D is where it should be.
Right, cool.
Okay.
You're going to
I'm happy
veto a
with that.
D. That means
No,
it's not
sorry.
meant to
I'm
be
gonna
there.
I'm gonna force it into D.
You're going to veto anything else.
That's it. That's where I draw the line. Okay.
And that's what it means to be vice president. You get to
Yeah.
veto anything else.
Yeah.
What should we
role
move
is
on
done.
to?
Who we're left with? So we're left with Motorhead, Slayer, System, Meshuggah, Megadeth, and Sabbath.
Can I
Felix
put
did
Motorhead in
force
God
the
tier?
D.
Pardon?
Great salsa there.
Can I put Motorhead in God tier?
Yeah, I think Motorhead have to go to S tier by default.
Especially back then, like it was just before his throat started to go. I mean, I saw them in 2009, and even then they were amazing. But as of 2005, still releasing music at that time. Like, if anyone denies this, get out of the Rock and Metal Society, please.
What were you gonna say, Stacey?
Well, actually, just if we're gonna go for like the top end, my single favorite live music performance ever was Black Sabbath in 2005 at Download.
I think we've got to
Aw.
put Black Sabbath in the S tier as well. I would certainly
Yeah,
put
I'd
them in S
agree.
tier because it's Black Sabbath.
I got to crowd surf to Paranoid, and the crowd was so big we were like a third of the way back, so it was a really like considerable distance, and it was probably the single best moment of my life.
Did it help you with your
Oh.
mind?
It definitely did.
Good to hear.
It did make me finish with my woman though. Shame.
Oh,
What a shame. Okay. Meshuggah.
Oh, I'm a big Meshuggah fan. Love Meshuggah.
I do like Meshuggah. I wouldn't put them in S tier because then, I mean, they are a niche-ish sort of band, but I
I'd put them
definitely
A
love
or
them.
B. I've recently got into Meshuggah as well, and I do dig them.
I would
dig that
love it if
shit.
they were an A, and they were great that year as well.
It was
so.
right when Obson came out as well, I swear, around then.
Yeah,
So
definitely like a good era for them.
2008.
So-
Yeah. Go on A tier, I think.
There's been no like proper debates yet. We're all very agreeing on all of this. Come on, guys, let's get controversial.
Oh, I'm sure we can think of something.
I'm sure we can.
Slayer. What a load of shit.
Fuck off.
They're not.
Do not.
They're not one of my faves, but they are always fun live, and I've seen them quite a few times, and they've definitely got some bangers. Like,
So put them about B.
I wouldn't.
I'd put them at A.
I think A or B as well.
If you put them at B, you'd have to put Meshuggah in B as well for me.
And that I wouldn't
think
let that
that's
happen.
reasonable.
So we're putting them in A.
Right, fine. They're going in A then.
I don't think anyone had that was the president veto.
Now that's your power coming into effect.
I have a feeling Megadeth is going to be one that we're going to agree on, but other people are not going to agree on. Because I'm not crazy. I really like his guitar riffs. I can't stand his voice.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do love his guitar riffs.
S tier.
No,
Sorry,
do not
for
put them
ruining
in S
the
tier.
audio there.
We love a mic peak, but I'd put them in B. I think Dave
B?
Mustaine is a wonderful musician. I think he's amazing at what he does, but I really cannot stand his vocal styles.
I don't know. I don't think B is fair. I think they'd be an A.
It was a crap album as well. That one, I think.
I would not put them next to Meshuggah and Slayer in any way.
Did you see them live, Stacey?
I did see them live. Yeah, they were.
Were they good on stage? That's the thing.
Crowd was great
as well.
I didn't think they were very interesting, but the crowd was really into them. I think, again, I could be very wrong, but I have this feeling they hadn't toured for a bit, or hadn't toured the UK for a bit before. So there was a lot of hype, and it was also Big 4 Day at Download. So they had Anthrax, Slayer, yeah. Well, Big 4, they didn't have Metallica, so
big three.
Big
yeah,
three.
the
The
not as
shit
biggest
version.
of the three. So I think that was another reason why, is because they had them kind of back to back, and so
All
a
right.
lot of people were really hype. So I mean, it was really fun seeing them, but it wasn't the best album, and I don't think they were the best. So really sorry, Kia, if he's listening, but I'd go for I'd be happy with B.
B is then, I think.
B is.
Cool. That just leaves System. Now I
System of a
haven't
Down.
seen
I
System yet.
really like System of a Down. I
But
think
I was
so.
reading
I think
reviews, and apparently they're really bad live.
that's the thing.
Now
What do we think?
you're going to hate me, maybe, but I have had the opportunity to see them a couple of times, and I have never seen their full sets because I went to see Suicidal Tendencies, I think, instead of them. No, Testament instead of them.
Both are good.
So I caught the end, but I was like all the way at the back, obviously, and very tired because I just moshed the Testament. So I think it was Testament or Napalm Death. I can't remember. It was like a really heavy band
Oh,
anyway.
God.
Yeah. God, this is so long ago. Um, I do really
personally
like
would
their
put them at
albums
C.
though. For me,
Felix, are you trying to hold the System of a Down on stream
I just gave
for
the System
people
of a
who
Down logo a
managed to
little
join
kiss.
us?
I really do like their music though, but for me, it's always been kind of I don't know how to explain it. They've never hit God tier for me, if that makes sense.
I think they're God tier,
They
but
definitely
I
wouldn't for
think
me.
they should be A tier. I think their
No,
music
I
is good
disagree.
enough that the band themselves is A tier, even if their live performance isn't. And I can see their live performance not being that good.
I would actually put them next to My Chem and Papa Roach if it was mine.
No, I think you've been overruled by me and Stacey. That I think that A
This
tier.
is bullshit.
I think A.
I think A
Yeah.
tier.
I
Okay.
think A.
I do not agree.
Well, that's not a bad little tier list. And no E bands. Nightwish is kind of on its own.
It's because Nightwish really set the level for shite.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh God,
I
yeah.
suppose then, speaking of shite, we better go over to Bloodstock.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Should we round off where we put all of the tiers before we move on?
Oh, are we doing Download 06 first, or are we doing Bloodstock and then back to Download?
Let's go to
Do
Bloodstock.
and then back.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
So,
So before we end on that one, I will read off the tier list. We put
Do it.
Motorhead and Black Sabbath at S tier, Meshuggah, Slayer, and unfortunately System of a Down at A tier, Megadeth in B, My Chem and Papa Roach coming in at C, which sounds really weird to say together. Billy Idol at D tier, Nothing in E, and then Nightwish in F tier because you're shit.
Sorry to all the Nightwish fans out there.
Big rip.
Right. Bloodstock 2016. You
What
obviously went to
a
this
year.
one, Tanya.
This was my first ever Bloodstock that I went to. It was my first time camping for a full weekend as well. So I was a 16-year-old little teenage me trying to make friends. It was cute. My dad at the time decided it would be the best to leave his 16-year-old daughter alone in the campsite with a bunch of people we just met because he wanted to sleep comfortably in a sun lounger in his van. So this was the year that I managed to meet my Bloodstock family, who I still meet up with today. They are absolutely awesome. I basically camp with a bunch of dads because I am a 50-year-old man.
Very wholesome.
Your dad's just teaching you how to be independent. That's all. Life skills.
Life skills, bro. Life skills.
Yeah.
This was also Twisted Sister's final tour year, which was amazing to see. It was one of the greats that I managed to just get in time. So I'm trying to think. I absolutely adore all of these bands, and I saw all of them as well. So it's going to be really difficult to put people at the bottom.
Right.
There's
like
one
we're
we're
gonna
going to
have to-
argue over, I think.
What one do you think you want to argue over?
Let's start with
So,
that.
the my joint worst live band, certainly if we're going on live versus studio ever,
Mhm.
is Dragon Force. I have seen them 3 times, and all 3 times they have been hammered and had technical issues that no other band has had, probably because they were so hammered they basically couldn't play.
I must admit it was kind of the same.
Yeah, and
I was
like
really sad
sometimes
because
it's
I
a
was
bit
really
funny,
looking forward
but
to them.
yeah, but they've been like that every time I've seen them, and I have to admit, I think that their albums sound like one really, really, really long song. Clearly, very talented
Yeah.
musicians, but
Very
they're not my
technical.
thing. Very too technical, no soul, no emotion.
I think I've got to agree
I
with you
don't
there.
like them.
I suggest we put them in E. I think they should be our first
I
E
was going to
band.
say E.
Yeah,
Wow, we need
let's
to
do
stop
E.
agreeing on everything. Jesus Christ. Should we work, I don't know, backwards
Should we-
this time, trying to put them in the
Sure.
worst first?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's going to be one that a lot of people are going to hate on me for, and that is how I really, really did not enjoy Gojira. And it hurts me to say that. I know.
Now-
We're going to have a fight. Yes. Okay.
I don't mind. I haven't
A
listened to
tier.
much Gojira. They're all right.
Thing
but
is, when I
don't think
first
they're
saw
much.
Gojira, I've seen Gojira twice, and their acts were totally different when I did see them. So this is definitely going to be this year's festival. I would put them a little bit higher if it was 2018 or 2019. I can't remember when I saw them next. But in 2016, they got put on a really like shit slot. It was still sunny, so you couldn't really vibe to them as much. The second time I saw them, it was like pitch black. They headlined and like playing Flying Whales in the middle of the night when everyone's off their nut. Pretty great experience. But in
I
the
do
middle of
like
the
that
day,
album.
it was blazingly hot. They only had about 45 minutes worth of set time, so they didn't choose the songs that I wanted to hear. They clearly weren't drunk enough to vibe with it. Nobody in the audience was drunk enough to vibe to it. It just wasn't that fun to watch. It was really not enjoyable. So as much as I do like Gojira a little bit, I mean, I'd still personally put them at sort of B, C tier because I'm not fully into them. I'd have to put them at D tier for this specific set piece, not necessarily just to their fault. But also the fault of the fact that Bloodstock didn't exactly give them the best set. So personally, I'd put them at D. I can already see
saying
that I'm getting
D?
shite in the chat for it.
That's an
You weren't at
I
the
was
front
gonna
in
say D or
2016,
C.
man.
I'd say D or C, certainly. Stacey?
They're A for me, but I haven't actually seen them live. Download next year is gonna be the first time. Could we settle for B?
No,
Let's
I'm
settle
not
for
settling
C,
for
I
B.
think.
Okay,
we
I'll
should
settle
go
for C.
I'm not happy about that.
The music isn't too bad, but you know, by the sounds of it, the live show this year wasn't, or you know, 2016 wasn't good enough. So
Yeah, I'm gonna put them in C. Sorry.
Hoops
sorry.
of 20, put them
Hoops
in
of
B.
20.
I'm
No.
sorry, you've been overruled.
Okay, who should we
Unfortunately.
go for next? Let me look at the list.
I fucking love Mastodon. I want to put them S tier. I don't know how they were
They're
live.
not great live though. They're not
well,
great
they
live.
weren't bad. In 2016 when they played, they were absolutely amazing to watch live. Like, admittingly, their production was fucking awesome, but I wouldn't put them in S tier. I'd put them in A tier, just because there's a couple people in this list who really, really like topped it that year. They were good at what they
I
did.
wouldn't go for
but-
S either. So I mean, A is
Alright.
cool with me.
I'll settle for A because I haven't seen them live. So
I've seen them a few times. The first time I saw them, they were amazing. Like they weren't huge. It was in 2004. They were supporting Slipknot and Slayer on the Unholy Alliance tour, and I
yeah.
bought their album because I liked them live so much. It was the Leviathan, which I think is their first one, or their first
Yeah.
like mainstream release anyway. But yeah, I bought that because I thought they were that good live. And when I've seen them since, they've seemed to have kind of really sort of bassy sound issues. But I still really like their music, so A tier is cool.
yeah.
And
Sounds
then
good.
like people that I would put in S tier, and this is simply because I have to give them their due because it was their final show, was Twisted Sister. And that's because Dee Snider is quite possibly one of the best crowd like boost guys you've ever met. He really, really gets the energy going. He was absolutely awesome. And he did exactly the same thing in 2019 when he toured as just Dee Snider. It was
And he is
We
on
have a
his on the
statement in the
lineup.
chat, guys. Megadeth
Oh, God,
suck
hang on.
live. Why are they in B?
Because it's not just about the live performances. It is just the band listing as
Who
well.
are you? I love it. Yeah, no, Megadeth do kind of suck. But that year they were pretty good, and I did get to see them with my dad, who was living his best life. Oh wait, no, this was surely I think Megadeth
Download.
played in 2016 as well, but we just chose not to have two.
This
at the
was
same time.
2006 the 2005 download.
Yeah, and they played in 2016 at Bloodstock, I believe.
They're really influential, though. I don't think you can kind of take that away from them. To be honest, like,
Yeah, I agree with you.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Twisted Sister in
Twisted
S tier
Sister.
because absolute legends. Also for the sole reason that they forced the chant "Dicks out for Harambe," which I will again mention, even though I mentioned it last time. That was the spiel for that year, and a special mention to the group of lads who decided to wander around at 4 o'clock in the morning screaming "Dicks out for Harambe" with a boombox. S tier band right there.
Well, if Dee Snider wants us to get our dicks out for a dead ape, then let's put them in there.
Let's go. Cool.
But
This is
hang
just
on,
a
wait.
test.
No, I got to
No?
object. Are you going to put them in the same tier as Black Sabbath and
Yeah,
Motorhead?
actually,
Yes.
I do agree
Come
with
on,
you.
I'm sorry. Like,
I
I
am.
get that they're probably fantastic live, but their music to me is fairly forgettable, if not very catchy.
Sorry, who are we talking
But
about?
Twisted
Twisted
Sister.
Sister.
Oh, sorry.
Who are you? Sorry, who's this?
Who is this person who's just
Who's
appeared?
this
It's
just
definitely not our
started
stream
speaking?
editor.
I think
Yeah.
I agree. I think the music's all right, but
No,
It's
sounds like they're good
can we put them
live,
like
but-
halfway between? Else I'll cry.
all right. Maybe put them
I w-
halfway between. Make them
Just
really
like
small.
they are ass tier. Oh shit! Wait, no.
They are ass tier.
Asked here.
Okay.
To whoever the small voice was who just started speaking, the more ridiculous this list looks by the end of it, the better. So if you just start
Yeah.
like throwing them into the categories, please do.
I'm
For
sorry,
gonna
I
those
just
run
of
out
you
of
who are
can't see
room.
them
present
next
extreme.
to Motorhead and Black Sabbath. It's just
Yeah, I think I
I
agree
mean,
with you.
fairly.
S
I
tier
haven't
is
seen Black
reserved
Sabbath,
for.
so. Okay. Who are we gonna go for next? I'm gonna do the.
What a
Anthrax
corrosion of
Slayer group.
conformity live.
They were okay. I mean,
they
I
were
I like the
when I saw
music.
them too. I like their music as well. I really like. I quite like sort of sludge metal, so I like that guitar style.
I'm a big fan of the sludge, so
Yeah, but I saw them after Orange Goblin. It wasn't that long ago, actually. It's probably one of my more recent gigs pre this crap year. I think it was 2018. They were with Orange Goblin, and Orange Goblin were on first, which was a huge mistake.
Yeah, I mean, Whomst of 20 has already moaned and said that Corrosion of Conformity are amazing live, but
they're amazing live.
maybe it's because I wasn't at the front, maybe it's because I wasn't in the midst of it, but I do like watching bands that I've never seen before from afar so I can see their stage production. So I don't really want to put them in the same group as My Chem, but I feel like I have to because I wouldn't put
No,
them next
surely
to
not.
I wouldn't put them next to Megadeth.
I'd put them A tier.
I'd put them
No.
B,
B
and
tier.
that's in the middle. So,
Okay, I can stick for B, but there's no way I'm letting them go in A tier. Absolutely not.
Fu Manchu are amazing live. I have actually seen them live as well, so I can
Flex.
corroborate that.
And then we've
I've seen
got
Hawkwind live.
the Anthrax Slayer boys. I always put them together because they seem to never tour away from each other. They're always like holding
Anthrax
each
and
other's
Slayer.
hands. I think Slayer was better than Anthrax
Yeah.
this specific year, most definitely. And that's because
I definitely prefer Anthrax. Sorry, Slayer to Anthrax. I find Anthrax a bit more generic sounding,
Yeah.
a bit more samey. So I would put Anthrax a bit
B?
below Slayer.
One
I'd
tier
put,
below.
yeah. I've just realised that we've managed to put Slayer in 2 of the same lists. But yeah, I'd put Anthrax in beer. In beer? Yes,
In
beer. I
beer,
would like
beer.
Anthrax in beer.
Yeah.
They
Oh
are
man,
really, really
Anthrax
good.
always get the short
but-
end of the stick.
Yeah, I mean they're good at what they do, but the thing is Slayer kept producing music right up until the end. Like they kept mixing up their set lists, whereas Anthrax do not. I've seen them about 4 times, and every single time it's been the exact same set list. So I feel like there's an element of sort of crowd pleasing going on where all they're doing is providing what the mainstreamers want, rather than those of us who actually know a little bit more deep cut Anthrax. So
Yeah.
Were they good in
Very
2016
good.
live?
yes, they were good, but Slayer were better. So that just solidifies more why Slayer in A tier,
Yeah, fair enough.
most
All right.
definitely.
Who are we
And
missing
then
out? Glory
who have we got
Hammer.
left? Glory Hammer, right. So Glory Hammer at the time were like just starting to explode. They were first on the main stage. They played at like 11 o'clock in the morning. And I was very hungover. So I dragged my ass over to the main stage with my dad being like, look, my mate Ben told me these guys are going to be good. Shout out to Ben. I want to go and see them. And for those of you who don't know, Glory Hammer was like Chris Bowell's love child, where he basically went, I like pirates, but what if pirates traveled in time and were also like space wizards? And Glory Hammer was born. And they were really, really good. They genuinely blew my hat off for that much energy and that much crowd interaction at 11 o'clock in the morning at a festival that they've never been to before and first on the stage. It was super, super impressive. And I've gone to see them since because they impressed me so, so much. So where would I put them though? That's the question.
No, I've not actually heard Glory Hammer's music. So
Neither have I. This is
This is
this
all
is basically
me.
up to
entirely
you.
on you.
I'm
But if
gonna.
they're folky metal, then it's -1 tier for me because it's just not my
Oh.
cup of tea.
That's a bit sad. They're not folky per se. I wouldn't say
Right.
they're folky. They're not like
Silly
Corpaclani
metal.
level of folky.
Comedy metal.
It's comedy, yeah. A lot of it's comedy. They literally have like they call themselves space wizards. Chris Bowles played a character called Zagathrax, like it's pretty lit. I'd
Mhm.
probably have to put them in B, just short of A, because I don't want to put them in A quite yet, because there was still at the time a few vocal issues. What do you mean bored you to tears? Clearly you don't
Gloryhammer
like
bored
Space
you to
Wizards
tears.
Hoots of 20.
No, I'm
Were you
happy
not
to.
enjoying the theatre? Jesus.
I think that's a ban.
No, I'd put them in B. They were still having a few like audio issues at the time. They weren't fully comfortable yet. When I saw them later, when they toured with Beast in Black, they were awesome, and I would put them in A. But for now, for this festival, put them in B.
Fair enough.
Cool.
Who
I'm
Right,
happy
we've
with
got
that.
Rotting Christ and Behemoth left.
Behemoth.
Sorry.
Nice. Both of these were pretty meh for me, but that's also because I don't like either of them.
Rotting Christ are pretty cool.
They were good. I liked Rotting Christ. Their production was really, really good, but again, they were given quite a short stage time for what I wanted to hear. And then Behemoth, I've never liked. It's just like if you took Ghost and took away all the fun, you'd have Behemoth.
But one thing I've got to give Behemoth their due. I'm sorry, Felix. I know we're going to
That's okay, that's
disagree
okay.
on this, but I think that Behemoth at least suit the image, unlike Ghost, where it's kind of like these really sort of poppy, proggy songs, and then that image. I don't know. Behemoth, it works. I think.
Well, the only thing I did was look up Behemoth on Spotify, because I haven't actually listened to some of their music.
Yeah.
And reading the description doesn't make me particularly enthralled by them. I
Mhm.
like Ghost.
I like
I
Ghost
think their
too.
image works well with the music.
Me
I think there's
too.
something a little bit ironic about it. Yeah.
I think
quite-
that's the
Their
point. I
music's
mean,
catchy, but just to me, like if you listen to it and never saw them, I don't think you'd expect them to have that gimmick, if that makes sense. I don't know.
I do. It depends. It's the reason that they change like the singer. I mean, they don't change the singer; it's the same dude. But it's the reason that they change their aesthetic quite regularly is because it's depending on what album that they're releasing, sort of mirrors their aesthetic that they're going for. It's why since like Cardinal Copia and onwards, they've been very, very jokey because it was meant to be. But if you go all the way back to Papa One, it was still quite serious, and they
And
still
even
went
then,
very much
there's
for
an
the sake
element
theme.
of seriousness about it, but they don't take themselves too seriously.
Anyway, we're
Well,
talking about Ghost. And Ghost isn't on this
Ghost,
list.
yeah. And we got some
Behemoth-
poggers in the chat as well.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
I personally put both of them in C.
I
and
think I like Behemoth a little bit more. Like I put them at least on the BC border. If we want to
Okay, I
make
can
that
agree with
graphic more
that.
ridiculous.
putting Rotting Christ in C and then Behemoth apparently in the past in BC would be. I'd agree with that.
Where Rotting
Behemoth in the
Christ in
past.
C.
I saw them in January.
BC as in like before Christ, which
Oh.
actually fits the aesthetic.
Oh, I see. I thought it was my age, my ancient festal experiences.
I think that's Bloodstock 2016 wrapped up.
Yeah.
Someone commented
Yeah.
in the stream chat, how the fuck are Rotting Christ lower than Glory Hammer? Because I'm the president, that's why.
I think Rotting Christ are pretty cool, and they're Greek as well. But
I'm
They're
not
good,
really familiar with them, so
they were good. That I would say yes, they were good, but they didn't surprise me. And bands have to surprise me and really blow my hat off to be above C tier.
well, there you go.
Personally, that's why Glory Hammer's higher, because I was expecting so little from them and they provided so much. That's why I put them higher. That's my justified excuse. Also, you're not in control of the stream, so meh.
All right, that's Bloodstock 2016 wrapped up.
Nice. Should we move back to Download 2006?
Download
Handing back over to Sophie?
2006.
yeah. So we've got Tool,
How
Deftones, Clutch, Metallica, Korn, Avenged Sevenfold, Alter Bridge, Guns N' Roses, Bring Me the Horizon, Bullet for My Valentine.
Back when Bring Me were acceptable to listen to.
That was Bring Me's best era. Actually, no, I liked. I'm not ashamed to admit that I liked Sempiternal as well a lot, and I actually saw
If you
them
mean Sand
live.
Pit Turtle.
Simp Eternal.
Yeah, Sempiternal. And I actually saw them live recently because, like, I mean, I was 16 when their first album came out, and I remember everybody buying it and loving it. And to me, it's almost a bit nostalgic. So.
Rotting Christ
Yeah.
is low because their logo is still too readable. Yeah, that is definitely an issue.
It's definitely fair as well. Like, how dare they?
Yeah. I think to put this festival into a little bit of perspective, Stacey was saying that she would be doing her GCSEs when this was going on. I'd like to
Yep.
highlight that I would have been 6.
I was also 6.
It's not really possible considering I'm only a year older than you guys, but
Of
I'll
course.
take it.
Always 21, forever 21, bro.
Forever 21.
Definitely.
Never
Well-
gonna
Definitely.
age past 21.
I'm gonna slide in here and say Tool's S tier.
Oh yeah, straight off.
Absolutely,
No,
Tool S tier.
no,
Straight
Yeah.
off.
no,
Yeah.
no. Oh no, I really disagree, and this is because of an argument that I had in like my first week here at university with my roommate Matt. I would agree that they are top tier, but I'd put them in the same place as Twisted Sister. I would not compare them to Black Sabbath. I would not compare them to Motorhead at all.
Hang
are
on.
Phenomenal at music production, but I just
on.
know.
Hang on.
I
Hang on.
can't
Hang
put
on.
them
No.
Hang on a minute. Stacey, you saw them live. So how were they live?
Amazing.
I
No.
bet they were fucking
Amazing.
amazing.
One of the most atmospheric live bands ever, for sure. I think that was the year he had like a gas mask on and stuff. I remember it was crazy. Even if I hadn't seen them live, they'd still be S tier for me.
Yeah.
So
I think they sound great live. Absolute gods of
I've got
prog.
support in the chat though.
Lots of
Someone
prog
put no,
metal.
no at Tool being S tier.
can we put them on the border?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Come on, Stacey. We need
But
to come on.
they're above Twisted Sister though, for sure. If
I
they go on the
think-
border, Twisted Sister has to go down.
Genre-wise, that yeah. See, we've got support in the chat. Also, Eggplant. I know you, so I'm going to be having words with you later about this. Trying to
Whoever you
say
are, I
that.
love
Trying
you.
to say
I
that. Trying to
totally
say
agree.
that Tool are not S tier. I
Tool
think
are
they should
not
be
S
S
tier.
tier.
I think they
Also,
should be
how
S
did I
tier.
get filtered? Someone at him. What does that mean?
I think we've put it to a vote. Me and Stacey think it's S tier. Put it S tier. S tier.
Democracy. God damn it.
There we go. Yeah, they're really big too. There we go.
Yeah.
Well,
For
that's
sure.
the main one to get out of the way. Right.
Oh.
Deftones.
Oh, but I mean, I wouldn't put them quite. I'd put them on the border between S tier and A.
Whoa.
Seriously.
Love them.
Really?
I absolutely love them. White Pony is one of my top 10 favorite albums of all time. Yeah, they're one of my
That's
favorites.
unacceptable.
They were great live. They're always great live. So, and I can't wait to
I
see
mean,
them
in
again next
fairness, I
year.
haven't seen them live, so I might.
I haven't
have to
seen them live
reassess
either.
this
They have
tier
like
list in a
laser
year's
shows
time.
and stuff. It's amazing. But
I think they
Okay,
should
I
be
can't
B
argue with
tier.
lasers. Oh,
I think they're all
No.
right. If they're good live, they're good live. But I think they're all right, but they're nothing
can't-
particularly special in my
I
opinion.
can't settle for less than A. Their drummer is amazing and one of the most underrated, I
we
think.
can put them in A then. If you think S and Felix thinks B, we'll democracy it and put it in A.
I will accept A tier.
It's cool.
Cool.
Right.
Okay,
Let's
that's
do
fine.
that.
This is gonna get to like fist fights. So I think can we move to like Guns N' Roses for personal reasons of hatred?
So Guns N' Roses, for me, ordinarily would be S or border between S and A tier. This year, this performance, they can go in fucking F, frankly, because it was when it was not Guns N' Roses and it was Axl Rose plus Buckethead and other various session musicians or whatever, and they were so late, completely shite live as well. They can fuck off and go in F for this performance. But normally,
Ouch.
Yeah, put them in the
no.
fire.
Put them in the
But
fire with
no.
Nightwish.
But I can't have that overall because so that Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction is that album was what my parents played like all the time when I was really young. It's my only memory of them together was that album and I think the Use Your Illusion albums as well. They just sort of come out around that time. And my dad's still got a picture of me with a tennis racket on my head, pretending to play, a tennis racket cover on my head, pretending to play a tennis racket like I was Slash. So I can't put Guns N' Roses in F tier, but I would if it was based on Download 2006 alone.
What if we put them E/F? So at least we're
No.
acknowledging they're not awful.
No, because I love them.
All right. What about D then?
Put them in D with Billy Idol because I really don't like Guns N' Roses outside of their sort of very.
They're well
stereotypical
known, but they're
stuff.
not my. It's just
I
me and two
cry.
veg rock.
But I saw them not that long ago. I think it was 2018, 2017, something like that. And they were fantastic. So
Whomst
I don't
agrees
know, I
that
mean-
the apparently they're not very good live.
I don't like
That-
them, really.
It's that era though when Slash wasn't around. You know, that's when
So
they
shit.
were bullshit live. Yeah,
Okay,
enough.
I'm cool with putting them in D tier for now.
I'm
Now,
not cool,
what-
but I'll let it go.
What were Clutch like? Because I really like
Ooh,
Clutch. I think
I do
Clutch are
too.
fucking awesome.
I'll move over for you guys because I didn't see them and
You
I'm
didn't
not
see them?
familiar with them. No.
I would put them somewhere between A and B.
I'd put them in B or C personally, because though Clutch are really, really good, again, they are very somewhat niche, very dad rocky. So if you live past the age of sort of 40
Clutch are
onwards, I suppose
not
you might
dad
like them.
rock.
They are. I mean, the only person who introduced me to them was my dad, so I'm gonna call
Okay,
them
my dad also introduced me to them. There's nothing wrong with dad rock though. I think
But I'd
Clutch
put
should be
them-
B tier.
Yeah, you think A, B, I think B, C. Put them in B.
Cool.
Because
Yeah, I like
they're
Clutch. They've
okay.
got some
they're
big
they're
songs
good.
though, especially
Yeah,
songs
they
you
have
wouldn't
their-
think.
They're okay. They're good. I wouldn't slate them. They're pretty good. But again, they have to impress me to be pretty much anywhere other than C. So, and it's only because
Psy-
Felix will kill me if I don't put them in C. in B.
Psychic Warfare, their album, has one of the best album covers of all time, though, I have to say.
Ooh,
don't know if
album
you've
art,
seen
a
it.
new live stream idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put that
that's a
down.
really good
Put that
one.
down because Psychic Warfare has
Someone
a
write that
fucking
down.
sick album cover. If little tech man, can you pop that on the screen really quick?
Sorry,
Just
could
so
you
people
repeat
can
that?
see it. Well, Psychic Warfare by Clutch. Can you pop that on the live stream just so people can see how sick the album cover is? Just while we get on to the next one.
So should we move to Metallica while we're playing with the live stream?
Yeah, Metallica 2006.
What were they like? Did you see them, Sophie?
I've seen them quite a few times. I always find them a little bit underwhelming live, I have to say. But of course, like at least sort of their Black album and previous albums were just incredible. So I think they kind of get S tier by default in a way. But they are a bit underwhelming live, I think, for me.
Do you want to put them in like B then?
No. I think put them in S. Give them their
You want to put
dues.
Metallica in S tier? I do not agree with that at all.
Oh, I think like they have to be. They have to be at least above Megadeth.
I'll
Can we
them
put
in
them in
A tier
A?
then.
Let's put them in A.
I'll
You
let
cool with
that
that, Felix?
slide.
Sorry, I'm posing.
Uh,
Metallica A tier? Yeah, I agree.
cool.
I mean, they're
Let's do that.
Metallica. Like, you can't deny their success, but I would agree that they can be.
They're
quite
meant to be pretty
underwhelming.
good live as well, aren't they?
Can we go to Avenged Sevenfold, because I hate them since seeing
I
them
don't
live.
like Avenged Sevenfold. I think they are awful.
To me, they're overrated, but nostalgic and a bit of a guilty pleasure. You know, if I've had a few beers, I like them. Else, not really fussed. So I'm quite happy to put them. I mean, for me, if it was just me, I would say C.
Yeah,
but-
I'd say C. Definitely. I'd rather listen to them than Guns N' Roses, but I
think we
mean,
can go-
I've seen
I
them
think we
live
can go
also,
C.
and they're shocking.
Well, we're putting them at E. What? C?
C.
Put them in C? I'm not sure I'd put them
I'm
in
happy
C.
to settle for D.
Yeah,
To be
I'd
honest,
put
I'm
them
really
in
not
D.
fussed.
I think
Yeah, go for D.
they're
Let's make this
rubbish.
spicy.
I think they
Not
are.
going
They're
to be
not very
popular,
good.
but I'm
Go
not
for it.
huge on them until I've had a few
Oh.
beers. Then I quite like some of their
It is
earlier stuff.
absolute pap metal.
Nice.
Okay.
We'll go for
Corn are also shit. I'd put them in F tier.
No.
I love Corn.
Awful.
Wrong.
And
Incorrect.
this was the year as well that Jonathan Davis had a major last minute health issue and they got a bunch of random vocalists to fill in and do the songs. So they had like Corey Taylor jumped on. I think it was Corey Taylor. They had a bunch of people. It was really, really nice, really sweet. And they're also one of my favorite live bands ever. Literally get pins and needles from them, even if I don't like their more recent stuff as much. It's one thing to appreciate is the only lineup change they've had since, well, you know, since they've released their first album was their drummer. And they're just a machine live. They're really tight, I think.
I'd put them in A, and I'd agree
I'd
with
put them in
whoever
A.
put that in the chat. Yeah.
I'm
I'd
Can we
in
put
A.
them A/B? Because I think that I don't like them at all.
I
Love
can
them, but
settle for that, but I won't be happy.
I won't be happy at all. Yeah, I would A/B for
Alright, I'll
their
settle for it.
recordings, but A for their live. In fact, I'd probably put them in S if it was just for how good they are live.
Probably have to put them in A.
How about
slash B
75% A, 25%
No,
B?
no, half and half.
then.
Also, the album
Thank
cover
you,
is now
random voice.
sat on my desk next to me.
Nice.
If anyone's interested in looking at it, it's
Ignoring the fact that this will become a podcast.
yeah. For anyone who's listening online after the fact, it's
just
a
imagine
big
Felix's head with.
it's a big naval artillery cannon with a seraphim with a warhammer. It's fucking
Pretty
awesome.
cool.
I'd recommend you look it up.
Should we move next to Alter Bridge?
Yeah, you can get rid of it now, Aiden. Thanks. Yeah, Alter Bridge. No idea.
Because that's a band I want to see because I really like Alter Bridge.
To me, fantastic musicians, shite songs. Not a fan. I mean, the
Oof.
guitar work is great, but I just think their songs are so not memorable. I mean, I would
Cool.
happily put them in D.
I've
But
n- I,
What? No.
they haven't even come on my radar, so I don't care where they go.
I'd
they're
put them in
Creed
like
without the
C.
singer, Felix. I think, aren't they? They're Creed
I've-
without the singer.
Pretty
I've
much.
frozen in a rather unfortunate position. You'll have to bear with me. That is it's quite funny actually. Just leave it there.
I'd put them in C because I don't think it's fair putting them in D at all. I quite like their songs. And yeah, Miles Kennedy does have a godly voice, as has been said in the chat, so I'd put them in C. Do you want to CD it? Do you want to go back to the old way of listening
I
to
would
music
put
and
them in.
CD it?
If it was for their musicianship, I'd put them in A for sure. It's just really not my cup of tea, so I'm happy to put them in C. That's fine.
Okay, we'll see that. Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Lovely. Who's next? Is it Bring Me?
Yeah, bring me.
Yes.
Bring me the
Horizon.
vomit bag so I can empty my guts.
It was a good year. It was also around the time Ollie Sykes was still a total. I mean, I don't know if he is still a total douche, but yeah, was definitely a massive douche at the time. So
Really
my
not
friend
a
actually
fan.
did sound for Bring Me when they were fairly up and coming, and said that he was see you next Tuesday. So yeah.
Nice.
Um,
Where would you put them? Because I'd put them
I
with like
like them.
Dragon Force.
I put them with Dragon Force as well.
I'm happy to let them slide to. I do like that album, their first album, Count Your Blessings, and I do like Sempiternal, but some of their stuff I can really leave quite happily. Their last album's not my thing at all. It sounded like
Absolute
Coldplay.
dog shite.
Absolute shit. It really did sound like a Coldplay album. So that to me they're quite divisive. So I'm quite happy. I'm happy to put them in D. Like they were good
Cool.
live though, solid live.
My dad fell asleep while watching them live, so let's leave it at that. Literally fell
Well, that's
asleep
a
on
good
the field
sign.
floor. So the final one for 2006 is Bullet for My Valentine, which leaves us about 15 minutes to do the last one. So we're actually going to get through everything. Nice.
Yeah, perfect.
Where would you put Bullet? Because they're like my little emo heart right now. Is like.
There we go. I'm back.
I get you. I do actually get you with that. Again, they're not necessarily a band I would sit there and listen to all night, but like if a song comes on, I quite like it. Some of the stuff again I can leave. To me, they're probably a C.
We've got a
Someone
suggestion
in the
for
chat is
F by
demanding,
Hoots
yeah.
of 20.
Go
Quite
for
the
it.
little
No, do not put them in F. I will be very
I don't
sad.
think
quite the
they're.
little imp in
happy,
the chat
I'm
there.
happy with C. To be honest, for me, they're
I
a C
could-
band.
I could put them in D.
I could put them in D as well. C
Yeah,
slash
okay
D.
with D.
I'm happy with
C
D.
slash. We'll CD it. Yeah.
Well, we're
Make them
CDing
a
it, aren't we?
mixtape.
Not a D. I think whatever.
Do you also think D though? We can move them down. It's fine. There isn't a lot in E, so.
I think they're D tier. It's just guff, really, isn't it?
Okay, we'll be more decisive and put them in D. I think.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Who
2006
now we've got to
download.
move.
Oh, it's good to see
Done.
Tool up in the S tier.
So now we've got 2019 Bloodstock, which I'm excited for. Should I read off the band members that we're going to be discussing?
Yeah.
We've got Sabaton, Powerwolf, Tesseract, Children of Bodom, Parkway Drive, Anthrax, Scorpions, Queensryche, Cradle of Filth, and D. Snyder. I have some immediate ones right off the bat.
Yeah.
Cradle of Filth, F tier. Get them away from me. Get them away from me. And this is because of the show. It was appalling. It was so bad. They were 40 minutes late and they were only allowed to play for 20 minutes.
Oh shit.
It was absolutely appalling. Their sound was atrocious. 99% of the people who were watching literally left because they sounded crap. I like about
probably
4
a
or
similar
5
thing with like Guns
songs.
N' Roses that time.
They were absolutely shocking. Normally, I'd put them in around D tier, but F. That show was appalling, burn in hell. They shouldn't have been on stage.
I know they're shit, but I love them, and I have seen them live a couple times, and they've always been great fun. So, and I do still listen to them all the time because, like, they were huge when I was like 14, 15, and a mega goth. So of course I listened to Cradle of Filth.
I think
They're
we should put them
like-
E/F.
No. For that show, no, I can't do it. I cannot allow it. It was absolutely appalling. And I have someone planned for E who will be next.
Okay.
I'll let it slide to F for that one performance, but otherwise my little 14-year-old goth heart is
I'm
sad
sorry.
right now.
Me too. Like when I was 14, 15, my dad showed me like methamphetamine and I was like, this is fucking awesome. And then
Yeah.
just no, it was crap. I couldn't even stay for my favorite song because it was so bad and painful to listen to. I would have rather had a nap.
I basically
I
know
was
everything I
14
know
when the
about
album
Cradle
came
of Filth from IT Crowd. So
Yeah,
where are they?
yeah. They're not
The next
contemporary
one-
dark wave, by the way.
The
What
next
track
one that
12
I'm going to
coffin
put
filter?
really low, and the one that I'm going to put really low for that year, and this hurts me to say because I used to be the biggest fan ever, is Sabaton.
I
Put
think
them in E
Sabaton should
tier.
be F tier.
Yeah, I
Not
don't like
quite
them at
F.
all.
I think Sabaton
Not quite
are
F because their
awful.
show, if you were standing about 50 feet back, probably looked great. But they decided this year that they were going to put fire cannons across the stage. So if you were anywhere near sort of like
Oh my gosh.
20 feet, you couldn't see shit. I also dislocated my arm during this gig. So it was absolutely shite. It was so bad. His singing was great. The audio was really good. The music was really good, but nothing could make up the fact that I couldn't see them. I had to babysit a small ginger child who was 14 years old, and I dislocated my arm. So
I
shove
think
that shit in the
Sabaton
tier.
are just awful. I think their music is the most embarrassing shit I've ever listened to. I'm sure people like it, but oh god, I listened to the album about the First World War. Oh dear, Boke Central. Not a fan. Absolutely not a fan. I'd stick him in F. If there was one below F, I'd stick him in that one.
Who's Tanya bringing up the hair color? Sorry, like because he was
The
ginger.
little annoying ginger
He
kid.
was a lovely kid, but he was like, I've left my dad because he's at the back and I want to be at the front. And I was like, kid, I will mother you, but this is annoying as all fuck.
I'm not a fan at all. I think they're really, really, really overrated. And like I've already said, I'm not really. It's. I probably should be more open-minded, but I'm just not really down with
No.
the folky kind of stuff. So it's really cheesy to me. So
Do you know what? I
Um,
feel like for this, I can put them in F tier just because you guys
Put 'em
have
in F.
convinced
I
me
wanna
about
watch
how
'em
shit
burn.
put them in
they are.
F.
They are
Yeah.
they are really awful. To be
But
fair,
yeah.
they're a good laugh to listen to because it is just hilariously bad.
I do like some of their songs. That's the sad thing. Like they're on my regulars, but for that, no, they were absolutely atrocious. Trying to think of some others.
Tanya met the average
Scorpions.
Sabaton fan.
I did meet the average Sabaton fan.
That's a good.
For
That's a good
Scorpions,
one.
I have to put them in like C D tier. And
They're
that
pretty
really
cool,
hurts
but
to
how were
say.
they live? That's the
Bad.
thing.
Because they're all old men now,
I was gonna
none
say.
of them
Getting
moved.
on a bit.
It was like the most stagnant show you've ever seen in your life. I was cold. It was Sunday night. It was raining. None of us were enjoying ourselves. We stayed for Winds of Change, and that's pretty much it. And Rock You Like a Hurricane, and then we left. Obviously, they were the last two songs, which was a pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
of course.
But
Yeah.
I'd put them in D tier for that specific year. They were pretty shite.
Yeah, D tier. Who cares about Scorpions? I'll put them in D tier.
I'm happy
No.
with D. I mean, the guitarist is great. I think he's one
Oh,
of
yeah.
that era,
they're a
one
cool
of the
band. It's
better
very
ones for sure. But I'm
If
not.
I saw them in
not
the
fussed.
80s, F tier, but
yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
So
I'd agree with you. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Cool with me.
Who am I going to
We've
go
got
next with?
Anthrax again, but I'm happy to just keep them where they are because
I'm happy to keep them
Yeah.
where they are.
They were the same, but pretty much.
Parkway
As I said, I've
Drive.
seen them a couple times. Right.
I think Parkway Drive are rubbish.
No. I went into Parkway Drive not expecting shit because I've never liked them. I never listened to their music. All I knew that it was the new thing in, and I wasn't a big fan. My cousin had seen them before and repped them, and I was like, nah, really not into it. However, they blew my fucking hat off. Their stage production is massively intense and insane. So many pyrotechnics is unbelievable. I was watching from the side, and I was like blown away. Their set was amazing. I genuinely would have to put them in A or B tier because I've never seen them before, had absolutely no preconceptions of them, and they blew my absolute mind. They were so good. as someone said in the chat, I remember when they released them as a headliner, and everyone was like, "Oh, why have you released them? They're going to be so shit." And like people were selling their tickets and stuff because they didn't want to see them. To any of you who sold your ticket and didn't go see Parkway Drive, you're an idiot. They were absolutely amazing.
I think
Genuinely one of the best bands. Cannot hype them enough. They were so fucking good. So
I think
I
B
would
tier, because
say
we've got a lot of similar bands who are like good live, but their music isn't good. So pop them in B tier.
pop them in B tier. They were
that's fine.
phenomenal. Who am I going to go for next? Queensryche. My dad forced me to go watch Queensryche because he was a band.
I
It
think
was a band of
Queensryche
his
are
era.
pretty dull.
Yeah.
Not really a fan of Queensryche. I'd
No,
put them
me
in
neither.
maybe D tier because they're
I think
for
D, yeah.
me they're basically like the Scorpions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If I saw them in the 80s, quite like the Scorpions, I'm sure they would have been
better.
unfathomably amazing,
Yeah.
but they're a bit old now. I wasn't the biggest fan, and hopefully my dad never listens to this, else he'll probably take me out of the will, but I wasn't a fan.
If you're listening to Tony's
Super
dad, I love Queensryche.
Wow.
I don't. Yeah, they're awful.
I think I'm going to try and work upwards. Next, I'm going to do Children of Bodom, who were good. They were okay. I enjoyed watching them. They didn't impress me. So, C.
I mean,
No
I've seen them a couple of times. They're always good fun live. I think it probably helps that my friends were huge Children of Bodom fans, so like it kind of hypes everything up a little bit more than necessary. Again, he's always way too pissed live as well. So, and he's a really great guitarist as well. You can just tell it's kind of sloppy because he can't move his fingers properly because he's too drunk. I would like for me they're like B/C.
Yeah, I'd be happy to put them in C. They were they were good. They weren't impressive. They were good.
Fair enough.
And then I'd put Tesseract pretty much in the same position because I've liked Tesseract when they first came out. I think it was Tesseract that toured with the Devin Townsend project when I saw Devin Townsend.
I really like Tesseract's music. I would put him in
I like
B tier.
Tesseract. Yeah,
sure?
I
Good
would say
bit
B.
of Gen. Yeah, I fucking love I think Tesseract's
I
are really
B tier?
cool.
I like Tesseract. So the only thing for me with Tesseract is because I do really like their music, but I feel like it's a bit soulless, if that makes sense. It's not really that emotional.
The singing particularly I find a little bit. It
agree
turns
with
me
you.
off them a bit, but the instrumentals are fantastic.
Fantastic, yeah.
Maybe we should go for the BC again, where we put Behemoth.
I think B for Tesseract.
I think B is good.
I'm salty.
Yeah.
How were they live?
They were okay. They admittingly can play their instruments. They're very, very good, but I don't enjoy what they produce. Like you can only be so good as a musician if I don't like the music you're playing.
Yeah.
Well, I think that fits with our B tier artists, who are people who
Yeah.
you either like their music or they weren't good live, or vice versa.
And then I now have to decide between if
D.
Snyder and Powerwolf were better. Oh, this is hard. So this year was the first year that I saw Powerwolf. I had never been into Powerwolf before. I'd never listened to Powerwolf before, other than one song, which is Army of the Night. And the only reason that I knew it is because Amaranth did a cover, who also played that year. And again, was absolutely blown away. This is probably because I was at the front, which was great. It kept nice and warm by the flamethrowers. That was awful. I had a suntan afterwards. It also had just pissed it down, which kind of helped though. So I would put them for that performance and for the fact that if you watch the live recording of it, the entire crowd is involved all the way to the back. People are chanting and dancing and singing. For that show, would put them in A tier because their music is great. It's well thought out. It's ridiculously creative. And the one lead singer and the keyboard artist are really, really good at getting the crowd involved. And that's the most important thing. And I think something we haven't really touched on is getting the crowd involved at festivals is more important than what you are playing, because you can play the best songs in the world, but if the crowd aren't feeling it, you're going to sound shit. It's why people like Bodom seem to go down so well with Stacey, because you went with fans and friends, you know?
Yeah.
I went with fans and friends. I was at the front. Everyone was singing. It was very, very good. It was played at a time of day where the beginning of the set was in sunshine and the end of the set was in darkness. So it was kind of like a weird mass type thing that we went through. So personally, A tier.
Who's this Powerwolf?
Yeah. And now I have to decide about D. Snyder. This hurts. This hurts a lot. I loved D. Snyder's performance. However, I was disappointed in the fact that he still rode on the fact that he was the singer of Twisted Sister. Now, I love Twisted Sister. They're good, but D. Snyder is now a solo artist, and he is supposed to be producing solo artist music. And he just released an entire album of solo artist music.
Did he only sing Twisted Sister stuff?
2/3 of his songs were Twisted Sister songs.
But
They
there's
were
also
great,
fan service. Like I don't know. Like if I went to see him, I wouldn't
I would expect Twisted Sister songs,
Twisted
really.
Sister. Yeah,
but
and he's
as
got to
this
be
was
better
his
than Vince
first
Neil.
year, yeah.
Mr.
As
Pie,
this was his
Mr. Pie Man.
this was his like first year as a solo artist, so I kind of expect him to have rep his solo stuff a little bit more. So I'd probably put him at BC for this performance. Though it was amazing, though I was with my Bloodstock family and we were all singing, I think he could have done a lot more for himself other than just fan service, as you said. Because his new stuff that he's made is good. It's really good. Like, it's well produced and the entire thing is produced by him. He didn't rep himself up enough and just sort of fell back on the Twisted Sister thing. I've already put Twisted Sister so high, I can't feel like I can do it again.
Fair
So
enough.
Cheeky D Snyder
Relegated to
into
B/C.
BC tier,
Cool
which
with
hurts
me.
to say.
Well, there we go.
That's
No,
it.
no,
Good.
no. B/C to our wizard, tech wizard.
Tech wizard, do it.
Oh, I have a follow-up question.
B/C,
So
sorry, not A/B.
maybe something fun to wrap up on, could be depending on your answer to this. So Felix, you compiled the list, right, for
Yeah.
us to rank? I was going to ask Tanya if there's
Mhm.
anybody left off from your Bloodstock experiences that you would wish to discuss.
Oh, it was mentioned in the chat earlier. Where was it? Who was it? I can't remember. Oh, Fear Factory.
Okay.
Fear Factory.
I adore Fear Factory, and when they played at Bloodstock 2016, they played like the entirety of Demanufacture, which is my favorite album. And it was like the first one I went to with my dad. My legs felt like they were gonna fall off so much that I sat in a puddle of mud. Good band.
Puddle of
It
Mud.
was absolutely amazing. I would definitely wish for Fear Factory to be included because it was the first time I saw them. They've been a childhood band since I was like 4 years old. Would have put them in BA because they really blew my mind. And loads of people were really salty because they were like, oh, they're only playing Demanufacture, even though it was literally stated that they were only going to play the entirety of Demanufacture. Because they're very sort of contemporary. Most of their albums sort of slide into one another and do have a specific feel to them. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's the first time I've headbanged properly with my dad, so that's probably why they're so high.
That's really
Stacey?
cool.
Can I ask you the same question?
to you, yeah.
So I mean, it's one of the same. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to do two. One is one of the bands that we've mentioned, but it's not the festival year. Was that I saw Metallica in 2004 when Lars Ulrich didn't show up, and they had a few people fill in on drums for them, including Joey Jordison from Slipknot, and I think Dave Lombardo from Slayer did as well. And they were so much better without Lars, and that was really memorable as well. So yeah,
Tech guy, can you get a photo of Lars Ulrich and put him in the fire?
yeah,
Put
let's
him in
put Lars
S tier.
Ulrich in the fire. He's the one holding Metallica back from S tier, I think.
Hell yeah.
I think we can definitely all agree. Who else was amazing?
Evil Scarecrow. That's another band. I saw them
So
first in 2016.
Too many
and they were
bands.
awesome.
It's a weird one, and definitely not picked because I'm a fan, because I actually don't think that they're very good. But I saw Society One at Download one of the years. I think it was 05, and the vocalist did the entire set suspended from meat hooks attached to the skin on his back. So that was pretty memorable. So
No
yeah.
thanks. I'm good.
I'm gonna have to request that the wizard move Lars Ulrich from the S tier to the fire.
Yeah.
Why is he in S tier? Get him out
Don't
of
put
S
him in
tier,
S
please.
tier.
Zoop into the flames, please. Away with you. Cool. I think
Lars
that pretty
Ulrich,
much.
then Anger era in S tier.
Yeah.
Right. Should we read off the whole list then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Felix, would you like to do the honors as the closing remarks?
Roger that. Right. So in S tier, we've got Motorhead, Black Sabbath, and Tool, naturally.
Nice.
Wow.
Twisted Sister takes up the position between S and A. A tier, we've got is that Meshuggah, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Meshuggah, Slayer, System of a Down, Mastodon, Deftones, Metallica, and Powerwolf. Korn and Fear Factory between A and B. And B tier, Megadeth, Corrosion of Conformity, Anthrax, Glory Hammer, Clutch, Parkway Drive, and Tesseract. D Snyder and Behemoth there between B and C. C tier, My Chemical Romance, Papa Roach, Gojira, Alter
Why is
Bridge,
I
Gojira
think
in
that's
C
Rotting
tier?
Christ.
Children of Bodom, and who's that? Who is that? The other one? Oh, is that
Rotting Christ.
Rotting Christ? Sorry, of course.
Because someone in the chat said they're not difficult enough to read, so I think the wizards.
And they
Yeah,
were made
that's
more
what we
difficult to read. Well, admittedly, now they are difficult to read. D tier, Billy Idol, Guns N' Roses, Avenged Sevenfold, Bullet for My Valentine, Scorpions, and Queensryche. E tier, Dragon Force, Bring Me the Horizon, and lounging in the fires of hell in the F tier. It's Nightwish. Who's that? Who is that one?
Cradle of Filth.
Cradle of Filth, Sabaton, and Lars Ulrich on his own, looking very sad.
I don't feel like it's even fair to put Lars in the same league as those others. Like, can Lars be like sub F tier? U tier,
He's in a U tier.
ungraded.
Get off the list, bitch. No one wants
Get
to
off the
hear.
list. Yeah.
Who
Lovely. Well,
says
thank you,
none of us
everybody.
agree with the list? But of course, it's an agreement. It's a democracy here.
It is.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, well, I think
I'd
that's a
like
pretty good list.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for their involvement. Thank you guys for joining me and having some heated debates about where Cradle of Filth and Sabaton belong. Clearly in the fire. Hopefully join us in 2 weeks' time for us will be reading week, so it should be a very interesting topic to be released in the near future. Thank you to the people who joined us on stream. There's still 4 people watching at the moment. I think we've had Hoots of 20 joining us, Hobbit Holes joining us, Eggplant joined us, and
Great salsa, don't forget.
Great salsa, absolutely.
salsa.
Thank you guys for your support and your comments. I'm sure we took most of it into consideration and
thanks for getting involved, guys. It's good to hear from the audience too.
And we're gonna wrap that up there. Thank you everybody for your input, and we'll see you again next time.
See you next time.
See you next time.